What up, my channel? Welcome back to another video. I'm Jessie and you're watching. Yo, what's up, cuties? I am so very excited to be bringing this announcement video to y'all. In this video, I'm going to be giving you the tea on the final Strife read-along that I am co-hosting, along with the next 3 books that NB Book Club is reading. Let's get started by talking about the final Strife read-along. If you've been watching my videos for a bit, y'all will probably recognize this book. It usually sits right back there. It is always on display because this book means the absolute world to me. This was one of my most highly anticipated releases, and it did not disappoint. You may remember, those of you who've been here for a little bit, may remember that a few months back, I did a dedicated Black Girl Magic vlog to this book. It was so beautiful to have a dedicated vlog where I got to read and talk about all of the amazing themes in this amazing book, and the reading experience was just such a wild freaking ride. Of course, that vlog is going to be linked down below. The second I finished this book, despite the fact that it is nearly 600 pages, I wanted to start it all over again. I mentioned that this was one of my most highly anticipated releases, and it has gotten some hype, but nowhere near the amount of hype that it deserves. And so because of that, I knew that I wanted to host a read-along for this book, and a few other people in the book community said that they were interested in it. And so I've hinted that this was going to happen in September, but the announcement is finally here. We're going to be talking about the details for the readathon as well as the amazing co-host. Before we get into the nitty and the gritty of the readathon, let's talk about what the final Strife is actually about. Scylla dreams of her days growing up in the Resistance when she was told that she would spark a revolution that would free the Empire from the red-blooded ruling class's tyranny, a spark that was extinguished the day she watched her family murdered before her eyes. Anor has been told that she's nothing, no one, a disappointment by the only person who matters, her mother, the most powerful ruler in the Empire. But when Scylla and Anor meet, a fire burns between them that could consume the kingdom and their hearts. Hassa moves through the world unseen by the upper classes, so she knows what it means to be invisible. But invisibility has its uses. It can hide the most dangerous of secrets, secrets that can reignite a revolution. And when she joins forces with Scylla and Anor, together, these grains of sand will become a storm. This is book 1 in the Ending Fire trilogy, and when I tell you that this is a book that you are not going to want to sleep on, I really genuinely mean it. Also, can we just shout out this map? Look at this freaking map. This is probably my favorite map of all time. It is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And the back map is equally stunning. Like, what a babe. We have 3 co-hosts bringing this readathon to life. We have Monty of Monty Price. We have Erica of The Broken Spine, and on Instagram, we have Simone of Simone and Her Books. All of the co-hosts are going to be linked down below. Definitely check them out. They are amazing, and I'm really excited to be doing this project with them. Now, the live show for the final Strife read-along is going to be on October 1st, but the time is to be announced, so definitely stay tuned. One of the things that I'm really geeked for about this readathon is the reading sprints. Each of the hosts are going to be hosting reading sprints. We have 2 scheduled sprints thus far. Monty's sprint will be held on September 10th at 1 p.m. CST, while my sprint will be held on September 17th at 1 p.m. CST with Elliot Brooks. Erica's sprints are to be announced, and not someone screaming outside my window.
1 hour later.
Well, that was deeply unsettling. There are likely to be more pop-up sprints with some other sprint hosts, so just definitely stay tuned. We're really excited about all of this. And I have been selling a bunch of my annotated books on Pango, my used bookstore, which is going to be linked down below. I'm going to be annotating this copy of The Final Strife for a very lucky reader in a dedicated Annotate With Me video. I haven't done an Annotate With Me video in quite some time, and I'm pretty geeked. This one will definitely be more expensive than my annotated books usually are because it is 600 pages, and I'm going to annotate the shit out of it. So I will leave the read-along schedule here on the screen. We're basically going to be reading, I think it's like 200 pages a week, roughly, and it's just gonna make this book so much more manageable, especially with the sprints. It's going to go by like that. And don't be daunted by the size of this book. It is such a bingeable read, I'm telling you. It does not feel like you are reading something that is 600 pages. Now let's talk about the books that we are going to be reading for NB Book Club. Y'all probably already know that NB Book Club is my book club that I host over on Instagram, where we read books by non-binary spectrum authors. We have a really good time, and I'm super excited about the next 3 picks that we have. Getting started with the September pick, we are going to be reading none other than Café con Lychee by Emery Lee. This is one of my most highly anticipated books, and I mean, just look at this cover. This cover itself is absolutely edible, and this is a foodie, it's a rom-com romance. The only romances that I tend to like are rom-coms, specifically food rom-coms. I just absolutely love them. And so this is about 2 teens who are struggling to save their parents' failing restaurants, and so they decide to team up and start an underground bakery operation, and we love illegal baked goods. I'm pretty geeked about this. It's supposed to be funny and cringy and sweet, and I really can't wait. Now, the co-host for September is going to be none other than Audrey of Perpetual Pages. They have co-hosted NB Book Club before, and it was such an amazing time. Now we're going to talk about the book that we are reading in October, and that is none other than Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. I feel like y'all were bugging about their last book, which was The Echo Wife, because I absolutely loved that book. I thought it was amazing. I thought that it was flawless, and so many of y'all on BookTube just absolutely hated it. And I've heard some pretty mixed things about Just Like Home as well, but I'm going into it excited. I trust Sarah Gailey. I think that they are such an underrated author, and they have so much to offer. I love their writing. I love their atmospheres. Like, their thrillers are just absolutely amazing. So I'm really geeked about this one, especially with this bomb premise. Basically, we are following the daughter of an infamous serial killer who returns home. The co-host for this is going to be none other than Gabby of Gabby Reads. Gabby's book club, Book Troop, is reading this in October as well, and so it's awesome that she said yes. It's just really exciting. Who knows, you might see a reading sprint from us. Stay tuned. Finally, the November pick for NB Book Club. We are going to be reading A Minor Chorus by Billy Ray Delcourt.
Belcourt. It's a B, not a D.
This is going to be my first of Billy Ray Delcourt's work. This author is known very well for poetry that is supposed to absolutely change you from the inside out. And the early reviews for A Minor Chorus are some of the most glowing that I've ever seen in my life. And it got me so excited for the book. So this is from a two-spirit author, and we are following a young gay man who decides to peace out of academia. Academia is toxic, and he just can't do it anymore. And so he ends up returning home. Basically, it's about him finding himself and trying to heal from academia and figuring out what the hell he wants to do with his life. Now, this sounds like a very boring premise, right? But honestly, the reviews for this book are so phenomenal, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about this author. And we have 2 very phenomenal co-hosts. We have Kim from Native Lady Book Warrior, who is going to be reprising a role as a co-host for NB Book Club, as well as Bear of Etu Brody, who is going to be making an appearance as a co-host for NB Book Club for the very first time. I am so excited to discuss this nuanced book with these 2 very amazing, incredible creators. And as I've said, every detail about the readathon and the NB Book Club and the co-hosts are going to be linked in the description box below so that you can check them out for yourselves. I'm really excited about the NB Book Club picks because you have a foodie rom-com that is YA, and it's supposed to be sweet and touching and dealing with some important subject matter. And then you have this thriller by a non-binary author, and then you have this slow-moving coming of age narrative from a two-spirit author. And I'm just really excited about how different these books are and what these books are going to bring to the table. The Final Strife itself is so amazing. I'm gassing this book up, but it's because it deserves it. There are a lot of content warnings for this book. It is one violent, gruesome, gory fantasy, and that's exactly what I wanted. It's been a while since I had a nice, deliciously bloody violent fantasy. I think the last one that I really read was The Poppy War, like trilogy wise, I mean. And so I'm really excited to have another trilogy that has a really high death count and doesn't hold back on the death. Before I forget, I need to give a shout out to Mez Audio for sending these really dope ass headphones. This video is in no way sponsored by them, but they sent these headphones in their walnut gold in exchange for an honest review, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, your headphones are gorgeous, why not? And so this is the case that they came in. This is what they look like. Every single time I go to a coffee shop to edit my videos, these are what I wear. These are the headphones that I've been wearing to edit my videos for like 2 months now, and I really, really, really enjoy them. Look how cool I look. They are amazing, and their noise canceling quality is on point. Like, sometimes I'll even just wear them around because an NB is sensitive and has sensory issues, and they form this great barrier between me and the world that I very much appreciate. The sound quality is great, the construction is beautiful, they look freaking stunning. They're amazing for editing, and of course music. So they're going to be linked in the description box too if you want to get the pair that I have or to check out their other pairs. That's going to do it for this video. Be good to yourselves, be good to others. Check out my Pango if you want to see what other books that I have up there for sale. And don't forget about my Patreon, where I post exclusive content for my patrons only. Last month's dedicated video is me talking about the book that I am in the process of writing, which my patrons get exclusive updates on as I'm going through the writing process. And then the dedicated Patreon video for September is going to be me talking about fall books that I recommend. Till next time.